Does everything happen for a reason? No. Right, that's a wrap. Only joking. Everything happens for a reason is a cliche older than time itself. It's kind of thrown around by friends when their friends are having a hard time, and it's kind of put on a kind of in a scripty font with a misty mountain background. Often the background makes the quote more believable, obviously, and it's something that kind of triggers me slightly. The idea that everything happens for a reason. This video is about my kind of mental exploration of what I think. Does everything happen for a reason? Well, maybe I'm just grumpy, but no, watch on and find out what I think. Everything happens for a reason is a cliche older than time itself. It's kind of thrown around by friends when their friends are having a hard time, and it's kind of put on a kind of in a scripty font with a misty mountain background. Often the background makes the quote more believable, obviously, and it's something that kind of triggers me slightly. The idea that everything happens for a reason. This video is about my kind of mental exploration of what I think. Does everything happen for a reason? Well, maybe I'm just grumpy, but no, watch on and find out what I think. First of all, it's okay for you to think that everything happens for a reason. Well, in its literal form, yes. I mean, like the Dunblane massacre, that happened for a reason. You know, Hurricane Katrina, that happened for a reason. You know, wonderful. Right, we've established that when things happen, there's a reason behind it. Don't we all just feel wonderful now? Of course, things happen for a reason. It'd be pretty impossible for things to happen without there being a reason. But that's not what people really mean when they say everything happens for a reason. What they really mean is this horrible thing that you're going through right now will eventually shape out to be something which will be a positive impact on your life. So if you are someone who says everything happens for a reason, do you use it in all circumstances because everything happens for a reason? Oh, your son's been paralyzed and will never walk again. Gonna throw in an everything happens for a reason then? Someone's lost their child in a tragic accident. Are you gonna go and put your arm around them and say, everything happens for a reason? If you're the sort of person who says everything happens for a reason, then I really hope that you'd never use it in circumstances such as that. Not everything that comes into your life has a positive benefit to it. I'm going to say that again just for clarity. Not everything that comes into your life comes with a positive benefit. I know this sounds like horribly negative, but it's actually just horribly accurate. Fairly recently, May 2021, there was a cable car accident in Italy. You may or may not have heard about this. There were 15 occupants of the cable car. 14 of them died. The one sole survivor was a 5-year-old Israeli boy who lost every single member of his immediate family. Even as a life coach, I don't even know where I'd begin to describe how you possibly try and process or get through going through something like that. My guess would be 1 second at a time, maybe at best 1 hour at a time. Horrific. No other word to describe something like that happening to someone. There is literally nothing on earth you could give me to go up to that boy and say everything happens for a reason. Like nothing. I honestly feel like situations of that nature, the only appropriate response is to try and comfort them in any way, and that way maybe just to put your arm around them and say, this is really shit, or this is a really difficult time, or maybe try and just sit in silence with them. Don't think there's much more you can do with something like that. I understand that example is a little bit extreme, but I just wanted to kind of prove my point, and I think my point has been proven. Let's go back to a real life example. Things that feel really bad can actually be good for you. Breakups are rarely anything but emotional. They're kind of things feel up, things feel down, there's kind of inner conflict, there's questioning what you could have done differently, there's questioning yourself, anxiety and self-worth and self-confidence and self-esteem will all kind of get questioned in some way or another. Just a really awful all-round experience. However, taking a step back and looking at the relationship as a whole, you may not be able to do that in that moment, but if you take a step back and look at that and go, well, if one person has decided that they no longer want to be in the relationship, then the relationship is no longer a relationship. And you'd have to question yourself, do you want to be in a couple where the other person doesn't actually want to be involved in that couple? So any kind of, oh, please, I beg, like, let's not be over, blah, blah, blah. You may naturally do it as a response. When you look at it as a situation, you understand that, yeah, if someone has decided they want things to be over, then the best thing is to not be together, as horrible as that feels. Now, it's possible that, with couples counselling or, with really good, honest communication, things can be resolved. This has happened with people in the past, but cynically, most of the time, if someone's decided it's over, it tends to be over. This is a situation where people will tend to say everything happens for a reason. Now, what they really mean by that is this relationship wasn't right for you, and further down the line, there'll be someone else, and you will be much happier and feel more valued within that relationship. Which is basically akin to saying, there's plenty more fish in the sea. So if someone says everything happens for a reason, in this instance, then they're probably right. But does that actually make it a helpful thing to hear? Now, it's not exactly if it's some magical words which is going to solve anything. It's not exactly if it's out of the blue. It's the sort of thing that someone going through that perhaps might expect to hear. So does that actually make it useful to hear in any way whatsoever? So where does that leave us? Other than you probably all thinking that I'm a right grumpy bastard. You can improve nearly any situation. Now, if you followed anything that I've written or podcasted about in the past, then you'll know that I have a love of Stoic philosophy. Now, one of the key teachings within that is about control and what we can control and what we can't control. Now, one of the major things that we talk about not being able to control is the past. The past has happened, it's set in stone. There's no Terminator 2 style going back and changing anything or any other kind of time machine film. It's done, set in stone. No way of changing it. Sad, but it's true. So we then have a choice. Are we going to bitch and moan and complain about these things months and years to come? And people do. Or are we going to go, right, I accept that this is the situation, what am I now going to do about it? Now, this will never make it onto an inspirational mug, but what I believe is that anything can happen, and it could be for a positive reason. If there is a positive reason, then accept it gratefully and make the best of it. If there isn't a positive reason, then accept it and make the best of it. It's not exactly snappy, but in my opinion, it is accurate. In this next part of the video, I'm going to be talking about suicide. So if you are triggered by things like that, then it may be best to skip a couple of minutes forwards. In April of 2016, I lost one of my best friends to suicide. It was one of those things where there was literally no signs from anyone whatsoever. No one had any clue that this would be happening, completely out of the blue. 1 minute I'm planning a family day trip. The next minute I'm getting a phone call telling me that one of my best friends is dead. It was literally as kind of quick and blunt and disgusting and horrible as that. I choked up, I punched the wall, I cried, went through some sort of denial. Just the absolute worst experience I've ever had in my life. And I can clearly and honestly say that if anyone had come up to me at any point during the year following that and said, well, everything happens for a reason, I would have just punched them clean in the throat. Just not even a moment's thought, just right in the end, just up. Because it would be deserved. Everything happens for a reason does not have a place, in my opinion. It does not have a place in any serious life events whatsoever. And the same applies to the universe has got your back, or the universe has a plan for you, or this is all part of God's plan. I just don't think those have any place whatsoever in serious things whatsoever. Death is final. So without wanting to put too fine a point on it, once my friend had passed away, that was it. It was out of our control. It was set in stone. Horribly blunt, but that was the situation that I found myself in, as many others did as well. I decided that I had to try and find a way of making his passing, trying to find something which would be at least 1% positive as a kind of result of that. So I recorded a video talking about my own experiences of self-harm and suicide and what I'd been through many years ago, kind of talking about my late teens, so we're going back nearly 20 years. And just encouraged people to kind of open up and show that they're there for their friends, and just trying to raise some mental health awareness in some way. I just kind of wanted people to say, hey, everyone, I'm here for you. And the hope being that if that reached just one person, then it would have been worth putting my story out there. And it kind of worked. The video went kind of semi-viral. You got some small local press coverage, and I received a few messages saying that people had then been able to open up and talk to people about how they were feeling. And someone might turn around and say, wow, everything happens for a reason. Your friend's death caused you to open up and talk about stuff, and that saved the lives of some other people maybe. But I think that's absolute nonsense. I honestly think, it was something that was on my mind to do and share anyway. So at best, it just accelerated the process a little bit. The bottom line of all of this is that anything can happen, and whatever happens, you have to accept it and try and make the best of it, even if it's the most powerfully heartbreaking and traumatic thing you can possibly imagine. Choosing how to receive words. No one is going to stop saying everything happens for a reason as a result of this video. Or, people are just going to say it. It's a saying, and people just kind of come out of it. So you can't control what people are going to say. You can't stop people saying everything happens for a reason, particularly if they're the sort of person who believes in the universe having our back, or there being karma, or there being kind of things have to be balanced out, or things of that nature. But what you can do is you can decide how you choose to receive the words they're putting out. So the next time someone says everything happens for a reason, well, you can take it however you want to. I mean, even though it somewhat irks me, when I hear it, what I do is I choose to take it as a reminder that when bad things happen, I have to accept them and then try to make the best of the situation. Or you can take it as a literal thing, or you can take it as, ignoring the words entirely and just going, this person is trying to make me feel better. And that's all they're doing. No one is trying to cause harm, by saying everything happens for a reason. All they're doing is just trying to show that they care. So, just to finish off, get this on a mug. Anything can happen, and there may be a positive reason behind it. If there is, accept it gratefully and make the best of it. If there isn't, then accept it and make the best of it. But basically, no. Not everything happens for a positive reason. Thanks for taking your time to kind of listen to me. If you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to the channel. And if you think, hey, that guy, I like his opinions, he's the sort of guy I reckon I could work with, and you've got some things you'd like to sort out in your life, then do please get in touch about life coaching. I can help with issues such as anxiety, self-confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, or other issues using hypnotherapy as well, and hopefully get you where you want to be in life. Just head to GYST Coaching, that's GYST coaching.co.uk, or drop me an email, chris@gystcoaching.co.uk, and I'll help you get your shit together.